Welcome to Entre-Preneur. Breaking bread over business. Family, finance. Breaking bread over business. Entre-Preneur podcast. It's going to be the first episode number 1. Just to give you a quick introduction, this is a podcast dedicated to all the young entrepreneurs, even old entrepreneurs, people who are always wanted to do something in life as far as business-wise, but never had enough confidence or didn't know how to go about it. We want to introduce locally some of our ones who stepped out on a limb, who took a chance to be entrepreneurial and say, you know what, I'm going to make this for me. I'm going to do my best and go through the trials and tribulations to fulfill their dreams. And we want you to be encouraged by what you hear and what you see from all our entrepreneurs that you'll come across throughout these episodes of Entre-Preneur. All right. So today we have Donni Fludd.
Yeah.
Donni Fludd, how you doing today?
Hey man, pretty good. Happy to be here.
Good. So let's just get started, man. Like, what do you do? Like, what is your entrepreneurial lane?
So I'll say about like the last 4 years, going on 4 years, I've been a realtor. I kind of jumped into like the investing side as well, just recently, probably last year. But mainly, I focus on working with sellers, buyers. I help people list their house. I help people find properties. And then, I help investors look for properties as well. So I help them look for maybe like flips, buy and holds, then like, things like that.
Okay, all right. And exactly, how long have you been doing it again?
So yeah, 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that earlier. Yeah,
Okay.
4 years now on this journey, man.
All right. So what made you get into that, like fall into the real estate lane? Man?
So it's weird, man. I was actually at my mom's house and she was watching this show about flipping houses.
Okay.
And I just feel like
that's a good show.
Yeah. So like this a flip just switched in my mind. And I was like, I think I can do well at that, and I think I can make a lot of money doing it. And I was working at the IRS at the time. Okay. So, after watching.
Go there.
Yeah. Well, that was a brutal job. That was a real brutal job. But I was driving home for work because when I was at the IRS, it was like I think I was working from like 5 to maybe like 2 a.m. Like, so I was working, the overnight shift, and I just remember hearing this. It was called Fortune Builders, and on the radio they were like, yeah, you get to sign up for Fortune Builders. They're like, we have a program, we're coming to Philly, we're trying to look for, ambitious people looking to flip houses. So I just remember stopping my car in the middle like of the road, just like find out where I could stop. I took the number down and I called them right away, then from there I went to the program with my brother and one of my friends, and yeah, it was history ever since then.
Okay, all right. So it was a matter of what you've seen on TV.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much your drive to want to get out of the IRF.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. I mean, so I guess sometimes that's all it takes, right?
Yeah. It's just like I feel like sometimes opportunities come to us in different forms and shapes. And for me, my opportunity came just from like, it's almost like this a visualization, just me watching a show and me just almost manifesting it in my mind first. And I just feel like by me manifesting it in my mind, another opportunity came up when it popped up on the radio. So I just saw the opportunity. I just kind of went
took advantage of it.
Yeah, I just took advantage of it.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. What have been some of like the hardships or trials you've seen so far within the 4 years you've been doing this?
Oh, there were so many. So I would say the first big obstacle for me was getting my real estate license.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was never really good at, I wasn't good at school. I wasn't like, like the smartest kid or in college. So I had to, there was like, the course was okay. I did well taking the real estate courses. When it came to the test, it was, I had to read like 2-3 different books just and study like day and night just to be able to pass the test. So, I mean, I got through that, but after the test, I thought like, I passed the test. Yeah. This is it. I'm about to, I'm going to become a millionaire in like the next week or two,
gotcha. Which
didn't happen. I started to realize that when you're a realtor, you're an entrepreneur, you're self-employed, you're working, you're doing 1099. So you actually have to, whatever, the food that you eat is basically what you have to hunt it, so. Yeah, just starting off, it was rough. I didn't have, so I wound up selling my car to one of my friends, right? So
my
brother was actually driving me to the house, which was embarrassing because I didn't have this car because I didn't have a lot of money saved up. I just thought I was just gonna become rich.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of money saved up. I was living in Jersey. My brother was driving me to my appointments with, the clients looking at me all crazy.
Yeah.
But I was so ambitious and I studied so much. I studied the market so well that they didn't even care that I was like driving. Gotcha. I was getting driven around by my brother and sometimes my mom and dad.
Yeah.
But it was there was a lot of trial and error. My first year was I didn't do well at all. It was horrible. But
sales wise?
Yeah, sales wise. I think I sold maybe like 10, 12 houses or something. But
now, you saying that, to me, that sounds like a good amount. You think you're selling houses?
They were cheaper houses.
All right, so what would be, or is there like an average, as far as on the retail side, as far as, say like, what's the average amount of houses that a realtor would sell?
So, typically, and this is according to statistics. I mean, this is just what I read. They say the average realtor, and a lot of them are part-time too. I was doing full-time. Their first year they do they sell like 4 to 5 houses. Okay. But like a full-time realtor, on average they do maybe like 11 to 12. But I'm a little more ambitious, so I don't want to be like an average realtor, So I'm looking at the top agents, and I'm like, okay, they're doing these numbers. Those are the numbers I have to be doing too.
Excuse me for saying average. Donnie's not the average realtor.
I'm working towards becoming a top agent, but it's a work in progress.
No, I understand. Mm-hmm. I understand. Are you married, kids, anything like that?
I do have a kid now, so she's 8 months. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, man. Fatherhood isn't what I thought it was going to be. Okay. I'll be completely honest with you. When I first found out I was going to have a kid, I actually got a little depressed and I was a little miserable because I guess part of my goal was to be established first, like extremely established before I had a child. But just her coming into the world, it actually just gave me more ambition and more drive. Okay. I actually was able to balance my life a little bit better because now, I actually set aside time for my family, which is weird because it actually helps my productivity. Because what I'm starting to notice is when you take time out for other areas of your life, it actually helps your life overall. But yeah, man, she's
so that was actually my question, right? How do you balance the time, right?
Yeah.
With having, a daughter that's 8 months, and that's young, man. Right. It's a lot. Right. Because they require a lot of time, right? Yeah. So how do you balance the time with real estate, and just, meeting with clients and, searching properties and everything like that, going out and selling properties, closures and everything like that? Where do you find and how do you go about balancing that time? Where does that Zen come into place?
Man, that is such a good question. That's something I struggled with the first, I would say, 2 months of having her, Chloe, her name is Chloe. So,
hey Chloe, how you doing?
Shout out to Chloe. But so I would say the first month or two, it was I'm like, darn, I'm showing clients, but then I want to see my daughter, especially when she was a month. But what I wound up doing was sitting back. And I really started to just kind of analyze my business. Okay. And I work with sellers more than I do buyers now. Because as a realtor, when you're working with buyers, they can take up a lot of your time. Okay. And they're very demanding, which I understand it, they're buying a house and, they have a certain time frame. Yeah. Sometimes they have to submit an offer right then and there or somebody else will, take it. But, working with 10 buyers, that can take up a lot of your time. But working with sellers, you can just kind of list their property, market it, sit back, and then let it sell.
Gotcha.
So what I did was I made that shift for one. So I shifted from buyers to sellers. And then I actually just kind of set my schedule and made time for it. So the times I have, and I got lucky too because, you know, my mother or my daughter's mother, you know, she works with me as well. But, you know, we have her half the time. But the days where I have her are just the days that I have her. But sometimes I jump on the laptop, you know, do like a little work here and there. But for the most part, yeah, it works out. The way it works out now, it actually worked out overall.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you connect being an entrepreneur with the real estate industry? Like you said, you're working for yourself.
Yeah.
Where's that connection?
So the connection is you don't have a boss, which, you know, is some people automatically think that's a great thing.
Okay.
But the thing they don't think about is when you don't have a boss, you don't have a boss, so you don't have guidance. And when you don't have guidance, you have no idea what you're supposed to do. Like I remember I just went into the office, like, you know, all like bright-eyed, happy, like, yeah, I'm about to get a whole bunch of clients. And I sat there for like a good, I was in the office for, I would say like the first few weeks just wondering like, what the heck am I doing?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So when you're an entrepreneur, you have to go out, you have to find clients. So I mean, whatever industry you're in, you have to go out and find business.
Okay.
And that's what you have to do as a realtor. So like that's one of the things I had to do. That's one of the things I kind of struggled with at first. Okay. You know, finding clients, like finding a way to lead generate, you know, finding a way just to keep the clients and everything. But yeah, eventually after enough trial and error, you wind up figuring it out.
What did you learn that helped you go about finding those clients? Like,
Man,
go ahead.
Phil, when I tell you, like, I would say, like, the first 2-3 years, like, when I would do so much research. Yeah. Like, I would just study every single entrepreneur, and what I noticed is they all had the same strategies. I read, I can't even tell you how many books I read. I met with all of the top agents, and what I did was I connected everything they did. I started to put it in my business. Okay. And so like, I know one. There's this book, right? It's called Never Eat Alone. Never Eat Alone. Yeah, it's called Never Eat Alone. It's about networking. Okay. And it's funny because I connected, like I wound up connecting dots with the author and a couple of the people I met. Okay. But yeah, just like reading that book right there taught me how to properly network with people. And then just being able to properly network with people, I was able to establish some crazy relationships that helped me to get more clients. So yeah, it was just, I just did a lot of research. Like it was just every day. It's almost all I think about.
That's like the third time I heard you mention you read a book.
Yeah, I'm a big book reader.
Okay, all right. How often do you read, and what do you typically do? You read necessarily books more so towards real estate, like entrepreneur, like routes, or like what do you typically tend to read?
I read everything, stuff that helps my mind, my body, my spirit. It's basically whatever I'm challenging, whatever challenge I'm facing at the time. Okay. I look for a book, I actually switched from books to Audible now because Audible, in my opinion, is just way more superior.
You actually put me on it.
Yeah,
audio books that's the way to go, man.
It is. Yeah. You get through a book listening to it way better than you do reading it, and it keeps my attention span. But which question?
Like, how do you go about like what books to read? Like what topics?
Oh, right. Yeah. So it kind of. So for example, right? Like let's say I'm trying to, like the book I was saying about like with networking. I read a book that actually made me go towards another book. So there was this book I was reading. It was just like this realtor who was just kind of talking about the experience. Okay. And talking about like the importance of networking. Okay. And I was like, okay, now I have to learn about networking. So then I read, a book about networking, and then that book may have something in it that I want to look further into, and then, I kind of go from there. Or I may just have a thought. Like right now, there's just one book I'm reading. It's just like about like mindset and everything. Okay. Well, and there's two, listening to, and then there's one about like habits. I'll tell you about that. The Atomic Habits.
Yeah, you did tell me about that.
Yeah. So it's just whatever area in my life that I'm trying to focus on or I'm trying to advance in, I'll just try to find somebody who specializes in it. Because one thing I want to do is I want to learn from other people's experience just because it cuts my learning curve in half. Yeah. And if I don't have to learn the hard way, I'd rather learn from somebody else who has already been there. And
that's a smart way.
Yeah, I find it, and I don't do everything that way, but for the most part, that's what I try to do.
That's my problem is I think I'm so hard-headed or bullheaded. I take routes without the research, and I always hit that curve because I learned the hard way. Now, for me, it helps because it's just that's the better way for me to learn. Like I guess because I'm bullheaded, it's hard for me to take someone else's experience and make that my experience when I'd rather just learn my own experience. But one thing I've also learned being that way is yes, it's a stubborn way, but at the same time, as you said, you're cutting time. And one of the biggest things I've always learned is time is money, man. Time is precious. To me, it's like the one thing in life you can never get back.
Right.
So I think that's like smart that you do take in and you learn and you just let that manifest and then become, who you are today.
But I see what you're saying. But you know the problem? I always feel like somebody with your type of mentality always does better. So there's like different type of personalities. So there's like two of them are analytical and then one's a driver. Sometimes I can be like I feel like I've developed into a driver, but mainly I'm analytical. So this is what will happen, right?
Okay.
I'll sit there and read tons of books and do a whole bunch of research, and it'll take me 2 years to get started. Somebody like you, it's like, you know what? I have this goal. I'm going towards it. You'll go toward the goal. You may run into like a couple of barriers along the way, but you just figure the barrier out while you're going. Okay. So I feel like a person with your personality is always going to get further to your goal and faster than a person that's more analytical.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's true. I guess it depends on, necessarily the route you're taking and what you're doing. You know what I mean? Some things you actually have time to build up and accomplish, and some things you just gotta jump right on. You know what I mean? Let me ask you this, right? What aspects of real estate do you like more, right? Because you mentioned you got the selling part, you got the buying part. Nowadays you see a lot of, I guess they call wholesaling. Yeah. You got the networking. What do you like? What part do you like more? You got brokers. What lane do you like more and want to really tap into the most?
Right. So I was actually thinking about this a few days ago. Okay. And it would change. It wasn't changing a lot, but my opinion on it was changing a lot. And I really just kind of sat down and I was reflecting on life, because at the end of the year I like to kind of reflect on the past year. And I think the aspect of real estate I enjoy the most are helping sellers.
Helping sellers.
Yeah, it is. It is. I like being able to go into a house and to tell the seller exactly what to do to get their property sold. Okay. I like listing the property. I like getting a photographer out there and getting like great pictures.
I've seen some of your pictures.
Yeah. My photographer, Mikey, man.
I've seen some. What's up, Mikey? I don't know who you are, but shout out.
He's a good photographer.
Now, I've seen some of your pictures where, like, I've seen one of the houses that you sold, and I knew what the house looked like, right? And your pictures made it look like a brand new house. I'm like, I know it don't look like that, right? Yeah. So, is that something you learned along the way too, like the angles, or is there a certain camera? Like, how does that go? Yeah. So every home has just one buyer who's going to purchase it. Okay. And people like homes for different reasons. So the goal is to get as many people in as possible. So it's just kind of like a law of average thing. Okay. So you want to take great pictures of the property. You want to stage it if possible. You want to do a couple other things, like maybe get the property painted, refinish the floors. All these little details that are just kind of going to stick out to a buyer, because they're going to look at all of this stuff. Okay. So you may have like 100 to 200 buyers come through a property. Who knows? But only one person's going to buy it. So the whole goal is to get as many people in as possible, and then out of all those people who come to look at the property, you have that one that falls in love with the house. Gotcha. Yep. And they'll have like a vision of exactly what they want to do with it. Okay. How long do you think it takes to develop that skill set?
I mean, it kind of all depends. I'm more of a slow learner, so everything for me is just going to take twice.
Because you're reading all those books.
Yeah. No. You're crazy. Nah. I've always been that way. It always takes me long. Like I always start so if somebody starts before me, they're always going to exceed me. Yeah. But I always in the end catch up, and then it's like how I can like surpass anybody. But I always start real slow. So I mean, it all depends on the person, but I think just applying it, like actually just going out, listening to property, and then just kind of learning from it, you'll just see what you made mistakes at, and then you can just try again and learn from those mistakes. All right.
So to take it back, you like helping the sellers. Okay.
I do, but I enjoy helping buyers and stuff, but it's just the time it takes. Like I had one buyer, it literally took us a year to find her. I had a few like that. It took us like a year to find her property. And it's not their fault. It's just the way the market is right now. We're in a seller's market. There's not a lot of inventory right now because interest rates are extremely low. Like they're at historic low levels.
Yeah.
So everybody trying to.
What is the current interest rate? I'm sorry to cut you.
Oh no, you're fine. So the average rate for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is in the high twos. Like the last time I checked, it's actually 2.77.
Oh wow.
Now, if you look 15 to 20 years ago, interest rates were like in the 8s, the 9s, the 10s. Yeah, your money's cheap right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can get a house, you can get grants right now, you can get seller's assist. So I feel like with all these programs and with interest rates being so low, like you can get a house for like a really great price, and buyers are taking advantage of that. And people weren't expecting millennials to actually join into the market as fast as they were. But yeah, a lot of millennials are now purchasing. Okay. But I like working with buyers. It's just the time it takes is just a little too much for me, especially with having a daughter now.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Is there something you could, or advice you can give to buyers that may help a realtor or yourself specifically in that process?
I would say find somebody who can dedicate 100% of their time to you.
Okay.
And that's who I was. I was that, but now I can't. I just can't dedicate my time to completely dedicate my time to a buyer, and it's not fair to them. Yeah. But I would say find a realtor who can dedicate all of their time to you, because a house may pop up, and it might be like a very desirable house, and you may have a lot of other buyers who want that property, and what's going to happen is you're going to get into a bidding war, and it's going to drive the price up, and who knows? You're not going to know how high the other prices are, how high the other offers are, so you may lose out on that house. You got to have somebody who's like really hungry, who's going to submit that offer like this, who's on top of all the paperwork, who's on top of all the deadlines.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Worry about time. There's a lot of things you have to worry about, but find somebody who's just completely dedicated, and have the time for you. If they don't, then I personally wouldn't use them, because you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities.
Okay. Coming into the game, how does a buyer, right, find that right person? How do you know if somebody has the right amount of time? Like, what are some questions that they can ask or things that they can look into to say, yeah, this person can dedicate their time and their everything into help me find this house?
Right. You're going to feel it. So what I would say is, try them out for like a few days. Just send them text messages, like random times throughout the day, or call them random times throughout the day. Okay. And if they're taking like a day or 2 or 3 to respond to you, they're not answering your phone calls, that's somebody who's not dedicated to you. You're gonna need somebody who's answering your call. I mean, they're not gonna be able to answer like every minute, but they should be getting back to you within the day, because a lot of these decisions are gonna take you're not gonna have enough time to really think about it. Like when I was really dedicated to buyers, when I tell you, when they called me, I was on top of everything. Yeah. It's like, I got the paperwork in really quick. If they wanted to submit an offer, I wouldn't even wait to go to my office. I would just jump in the car on my laptop and just, shoot the offer right there. Because I didn't want nobody else,
I will contest to that. Dontni actually was my realtor when I bought a property, and he was on it. Like, you were dynamic. Anytime I had a question or I needed you to be there, you were there. Like, no problem. You probably so I don't say this much. Actually, I went to school for real estate myself, and I never really wanted to get into being an actual realtor. Yeah. At one point, I was looking to get into buying and flipping and everything like that. So I just wanted to at least know the game, so I wasn't being screwed over by.
You know it really well, by the way, too, man.
I'm learning as I go. I'm learning, but thank you. But you were probably the best experience I've ever seen or had in a realtor. And that's really big ups to you, man, because a lot of realtors I know are busy, plus also have the family dynamics, plus are trying to take care of themselves as well. And it's hard for them to dedicate themselves to clients, especially when they have multiple clients at one time.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how you guys make your money and maximize your income. But at the same token, it's hard to constantly keep giving yourself to others, and especially when you're in that buying game and you're like, they want to see 10 or 20 different houses, and
Yeah.
deals are falling through, and title companies are taking forever to get back to you, and it's a lot of things that fall through. So I do want to give you your ups, man, because like you really were dynamic and helping me in my process. Like, you know what I mean?
I appreciate
I'm
it.
sure
You made it easy, man.
Hey, man, you know,
When there's a good buyer, it makes it way easier for the process, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, we connected really well anyway, so it's like, if I needed something from you, you got it back fast, so we kind of just,
try to, man. I just want to get my profit. That's all, you know?
Yeah.
But nah, man, I really do appreciate that. And if you're looking for a realtor, I would definitely suggest Donni. Even though he's not the best for buyers right now, but if you're,
I can still give you guidance. I definitely can still give you guidance.
Definitely guidance. But if you're looking to sell, I mean, this is the man right here. What else? Man, it's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
What's some,
How was your home buying experience? Like
I'm trying to flip this on me, man.
Yeah, what was your thoughts? What's the thought that were going to be in mind?
As far as dealing with you, or just
No, just in general, like just buying a house.
It was a good experience, I would say, all in all. More so, mine was like a rental property, so I was looking for something that I could definitely. I didn't want to, and I also didn't have the money to do too much investing as far as buying a property and having to redo or gut out the property. So I was looking for something that was just pretty much ready to go, like turnkey, and but also that in long term would be profitable.
Yep.
So
you're cash flowing really well right now.
Let's not talk about the money right now, all right? But I wouldn't say it was a bad experience. It's just a matter of finding the right property. Now I'm one where I'm very proactive, so I was all on realtor.com. I got the app, I got Zillow. I'm looking at Redfin and everything like that, and I'm just shooting on you. Donni, can we check this out?
Yeah,
Check this out. And so me, that was my process to where I enjoy that because I enjoy the hunt. As you mentioned earlier, the hunt. I enjoy hunting and then being able to enjoy your prey. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
it's like once you find what you're hunting for, and then you're able to make it work in the long run, and then the process is just that much more easier.
Yeah,
that's what I enjoy right there.
Right. It's an ambition, man.
Yeah, man. That ambition is definitely important, man.
Yeah.
But back to you. All right, we're not talking about me. This is about you, man. We want to showcase what you're about. What's some other gems you can add to help people out in this industry? All right, so we talked about helping buyers, right?
Yeah.
What's something you can add or some advice you would give to entrepreneurs who might say, I want to tap into real estate?
Right.
What's some things that you've learned along the way that would be helpful for them?
Right. So I guess it all kind of depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be an investor, I think the best thing to do is get like there's this mortgage called an FHA 203K. It'll help you. So you can purchase a property and then they'll give you money to fix it up. So if the numbers are right, I would say possibly get like a triplex. I don't know if you're going to be able to find a quadruplex right now, but I would say get like a triplex. You got to live there for a year, but that's okay. You live there for a year, and you move out, then you rent all three of those, and then now you have an asset, and you can just kind of go from there. But if you're looking to be like a realtor, I would say go get your license, but definitely get a mentor, because what a mentor is going to do is they're going to be able to walk you through the steps of how to operate your business. And they're going to walk you through how to, work with sellers, how to work with buyers.
Okay.
Now, just being an entrepreneur in general, I feel like entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship. It's just you have your different type of business. So you can be selling paintings or cars, whatever you do. It all comes down to mindset. So one thing I've come to find is whatever you believe just becomes your reality. So I would say work on your mindset, get a mentor, and then just start. Be like Phil, just go and just start doing it.
Yeah, stop bringing me into this, man.
Yeah, I can't help it, man. Look. You're an inspirational guy, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It's mutual.
I can tell you're gonna be